Yksiukkoa, Kizikkanaaksi matsumapua. Nistua kouk, piiteessä saksina. Okei, saaki taanikku.
Nistuni taniko Betsy bita. Gistu saki taniko.
Nistuni taniko salis popi. Gistu saki taniko.
Nistoni taniko Jarvisi ni.
Hanya.
Well, my friends, it's been a long, long time since we've last seen each other.
Yes, it's felt like a long time. I have been very busy. Very, very busy.
What have you been so busy doing, Sally?
Sleeping. Very busy sleeping.
These long, cold nights sure are getting longer and colder. Brr, ikstoi.
This is the time of the year when the moon gokomikisim. She stays out the longest, and Nadu see the sun. He only comes for short visits during the day.
These long nights make it harder and harder for me to find food. I've got a good spot down by the river, though, where there's lots of trees and I can keep my eye out for where the ice breaks.
I can't even think about flying around out there in this weather. No, thank you. But Abita's gotta do what Abita's gotta do.
It gets dark fast these days, too. What are we supposed to do during these long, cold nights?
Well, have you tried taking a real long nap?
Well, lucky us, we have our dear friend Bide Sexinam back with us to talk about the long night's moon. Everyone say, Oki Bide Sexinam.
Oki bite saksinam.
Okki pita inis popi. Yes, you're absolutely right. Kitsi manchpua. This calendar moon, December, we call it Misamiku Kumyatusi. Literally means long night moon. And this is a time period where a lot of times were spent inside your camp, inside your teepees, where a lot of storytelling may have occurred in these teepees because of the long nights. Like Ini said, the sun comes out for a short period and it sets. It doesn't tuck up. So the children get to spend their times listening to stories about Napi and the rock, the coyote and Napi, Napi's playground, and so forth. And they also get to hear stories about themselves, family stories, history. All these knowledge are passed down. And again, you get to gain the knowledge of the language because you get to hear it. It does see what to be.
You know, I really liked how Bide Saksinam talked about the importance of rest during this lunar cycle.
And the importance of storytelling. I'm going to do lots of that.
In our traditional indigenous teaching, storytelling is very important as this was the way knowledge was passed down from generation to generation. That's why our stories are special. Our old stories are sacred.
Oh, I've heard some really good old stories. Some old stories can take days to tell. I also have a wicked story about how I got picked up by a seagull this summer. That's a crazy one.
Oh, I have a really good story, too, about how about a fish that I dropped and then caught mid-air.
Those are some crazy stories. But when we share stories, we're also giving a gift to the listeners, and the listeners give that gift right back by respecting the story that's being shared.
So, Jarvis, stories are like gifts?
And this is the time for storytelling and generosity, to be thinking about others and giving what we can to help each other out. Bide Sexinam, would you help us learn what the value of generosity means and how to say it in Blackfoot?
But I'll tell you. Ni tawan is to Achsepatapisini. Achsepatapisini translates to generosity. During this time period, we all appreciate each other as neighbors, as a community. Lots of sharing, lots of storytelling during the Samikuku. And generosity is everybody in our camps, in our communities are well taken care of. Our children, our elderly, our mothers and dads. Is a time of course, resting. Lots and lots of storytelling in the teepees. Sabat the piece. Can you say that? Sabat the piece.
Sibat the Bisini.
Sukapi.
Biday Saksinam, we have just loved having you here and sharing with all our boot gags. Your knowledge and language lessons, we want to give you a special gift from us here at Agabu Gags. Thank you, Biday Saksinam. Geti Gakomim.
Make sure to stay tuned for next month's meaning and value, and have a great winter solstice holiday, everyone.
Hey, zikskate sumatsi bawang pitas pupi ini ita momakatu yikisiko. Merry Christmas.
And
Itami Dodo. Happy New Year.
Hey.